So guys, I wanted to do a video about Billy Joe Saunders. Guys, Billy Joe Saunders over the last year has got a lot of stick, and rightfully so. He's done some crazy things. He said some crazy things. His actions, he's done some stupid things. He's failed a drugs test. I watched the interview with him and Coogan at IFL TV. And you know what? You watch that interview and you think, you know what? This guy's not a bad guy. Like, he's portrayed himself at times as being really vile at times and doing some really horrible things, and you think to yourself that this guy's not as bad as what he's being portrayed and what he's portrayed himself as. And I think you could tell in the IFL TV interview that there was a bit of regret there from Billy Joe Saunders, and actually he's a really nice guy. Look what we did with that kid. He had that kid come to his fight, and I think he's a nice guy. I think he's a nice guy that has probably tried to act away. I think, to me, when I look at Billy Joe Saunders, I think he's tried to act like Tyson Fury, but it doesn't come naturally to him. It doesn't come naturally to him, and he's done a lot of stupid things and said a lot of stupid things, but actually he's quite an intelligent guy. He knows a lot better than that, and he's actually a very good fighter. I hope the British public get behind Billy Joe Saunders because he's a very good fighter. And I hope he can stay motivated himself, because I genuinely do think there's a future for him at the top of the middleweight division. And on his day, I think he can beat anyone. He's right. He can beat anyone. But the thing is, when you look at people like Golovkin and Canelo, boxing is their life. They don't go out and do stupid things. They're in the gym constantly, right? I'm not so sure you can say the same about Billy Joe Saunders. He has his peaks and troughs. When Canelo and Golovkin started their career, since that, they've been dedicated. You can't say the same for Billy Joe Saunders. And that's the thing. Those guys are just as good, if not better, than Billy Joe Saunders, but they're also very dedicated. And that, to me, is the difference. You know, that probably is going to be the difference. And they've not just sacrificed, they've sacrificed it for their life for a very long time. Where I think Billy Joe's had done his sacrifices. Of course, he wouldn't have got to that level if he didn't sacrifice. But when you're talking about elite guys that have been sacrificing a lot their whole life, and they've not had any year where they've not put in the work, they've been putting in the work all the way through. So that's the thing. I don't know whether Billy Joe Saunders is willing to put in sacrifice for the next 5-6 years, where he just lives his life like a monk and just looks to sacrifice everything for boxing. And if he can, you probably say he's one of the top guys out there. He can cause anyone issues in the middleweight division because he's, from a technical point of view, brilliant. The way he slips shots, the way he boxes, he's a brilliant fighter. There's no doubt about that. You can't doubt that. But he's got to get dedicated, and I hope the British public get behind him, because he's a very good fighter, Billy Joe Saunders. He's a very, very good fighter. He showed that with Lemieux. You know, look at the way he just beat Lemieux easy. It wasn't even a fight, and Lemieux's dangerous. Lemieux can knock you spark out. He can knock you spark out. And I actually think if someone like Chris Eubank fought Lemieux, that would be a very dangerous fight where Eubank could get hurt. Although Eubank's got a good chin, I think Lemieux could hurt him, you know. And Billy Joe played with him. So I do think Billy Joe, if he was to get serious and dedicated, he could give those guys hell. But the problem is, it's whether he can stay dedicated. The thing is with Billy Joe, he has a great performance, then he goes away for like a year. He's 29, 30 now. He's got to get dedicated, got to get focused. And if he can, you have to say he's one of the top guys out there. He is one of the top guys out there. But it's whether he can stay dedicated and stay away from all those shenanigans that he gets involved in. If you can stay away from that, you probably have to say he's one of the top boys out there. And he can even, in my opinion, give Canelo and Golovkin very hard fights and potentially beat them. But it's about staying dedicated. It's about now sacrificing the next 5 or 6 years and saying, you know what, he said himself, he's got 6, 7, 8 fights left. Work your socks off, stay in the gym, don't disappear, and just look to kill it. And if he does do that, you could probably see him winning a world title and maybe unifying. You know, like I said, he's technically brilliant. You can see him causing Canelo a lot of issues. Canelo's a brilliant fighter, don't get me wrong. That's a hard fight. It doesn't matter whether he says he's Canelo's nightmare. That's a hard fight. But Billy Joe Saunders, in my opinion, technically is brilliant. He's brilliant, and he causes Canelo a lot of hell. He's a natural middleweight as well, Billy Joe Saunders. There's no issue where Canelo's bigger than him, or, you know, Billy Joe's a big middleweight himself. So that's a great fight. He also talked about a De Gale fight, and I actually think De Gale's probably at the end of his career. He beats De Gale. He beats Eubank easy. Billy Joe Saunders will school Eubank. De Gale, obviously, De Gale's also a slick boxer. He's bigger than Billy Joe. It's a hard. That's a good fight. A good fight. But I think Billy Joe wins that. I just think De Gale's at the end of his career. And I hope Billy Joe can get himself together, because like I said, I think this guy can go all the way. He's a great fighter, and let's just hope he can stay dedicated and he can give the British fans some great fights, because like I said, he should get these big fights because he's very good. Billy Joe's very good. Don't get it wrong. Yes, I don't agree with some of the things that he does outside the ring and some of the things that he says, but as a fighter, he's brilliant. He's brilliant, and I just hope he can get his act together, because like I said, this guy, we don't know how far he could go. We don't know where he could get to. But I do think he's an exceptional fighter. But let's just hope Billy Joe Saunders can get his act together and get these big fights. Because let's be honest, it's going to be hard for him without a world title to get big fights. So I hope the WBO make it mandatory for Andrade. He beats Andrade, and then he gets big fights with Jacobs. He gets big fights with Canelo. Those fights are there, but he needs to become world champion. Because without him holding a belt, I don't know whether those guys will probably look at him as high risk, low reward. But let's see what happens, and I hope Billy Joe Saunders can get back to the top. Leave your thoughts, guys, and guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.